Hey, everybody. I'm Josh, host of the What School Could Be podcast. And this is my sister, Martha Reppun Beachy. And so we are recording Martha today because we wanted to get her thoughts on a particular story related to Roots and Wings. Actually, this is before Roots and Wings. Um, Something that's actually connected to the journeys of Lewis and Clark. So, Martha, what was that story about how this Lewis and Clark expedition became the sort of base, the structure within which parents and students were able to connect with community, connect with the environment, and also connect with their own kind of personal recording of who they are and what they do?
Okay, well, a very long time ago, we were volunteering at Kahoot School, and Glenn was helping with their PE program, which they didn't really have a PE program. So the source of this story is he was helping with PE, and we decided to suggest to the teacher that we have um, the kids were studying at that time actually um, settlers in wagon trains traveling across the U.S., like, for example, the Lewis and Clark Trail. And so Glenn had all of the students, he sat them down and talked to them, and they and their families had to run or walk or swim um, during the week and keep track of all their miles. And then we had in the classroom a very big whiteboard with the Lewis and Clark Trail on it. And then once a week, we went into the class, and the kids had to move their pegs along the trail to show how far they had walked or run during the week. And so obviously, this whole project took a long time, a semester at least. And um, so this is something all the families were doing together. So they had to work together, which I think was a really important part of the whole thing, is that they had to work together. And then if in one week one family didn't move at all, didn't do anything, they had to come up with a reason why. Maybe they had a broken wheel on their wagon, or there was a flood or a storm, or they slaughtered a buffalo and they had to spend time preparing it for food, which local kids would relate to because of the wild pigs that lots of the parents were shooting. And or they were attacked by Indians, or whatever reason that they hadn't run or moved anywhere that week. So then it could be a, it could be part of all parts of the curriculum, not just PE. Well, they were studying social studies, history. They might have had, the kids might have had to, the teacher might have assigned them to write a poem sitting on the back of the wagon, or else sitting around the campfire. So that was part of the English curriculum. Or they had to produce a piece of art. They had to draw their surroundings. And while they were sitting on the wagon. So it was a lot of different parts of the curriculum, like social studies, history, art, everything. It was practical, and math, especially math. And then I think that the actual most important part of this whole project, which took so long, was that the kids realized they all had to work together. They and their families had to work together. And that was really essential thing for them to understand. So that was basically that project, which took a semester, was maybe the beginning of when we first started the Roots and Wings idea.
Right. Okay, so question of clarification. So what grade were these students?
Fifth.
So these were fifth grade students, got it. And then second question is, would it not be fair to say that what happened here is that the Lewis and Clark expeditions came alive
That
in a
what?
way? They came alive in a way, right? They
The
did.
expeditions across the U.S.?
Yeah, they came alive because it was real world learning. It was connected, right?
It did totally have it all come alive, because they were picturing the trail. For one thing, they were picturing themselves as settlers traveling across the US, not knowing what they were going to see, not knowing what they were going to see that could be eaten,
Yeah.
what green stuff could be eaten. I mean, and I think a lot of the kids identified with this kind of thing. I think it was very good for them to realize what people had gone through to travel across the US.
So there was an empathy factor built into it. You almost literally began to walk in the shoes of these of Lewis and Clark in a sense, and their troop, right?
Right. And if it was storming, for example, they didn't want to sleep outside. They had to all cram into a wagon. I mean, I think even like kids going camping here could identify with that.
Right.
For a lot of things that they could identify, like the killing wild pigs, like I said,
Yeah.
and, um, and then contemplating it and writing about it. I think, like, writing about what they had done that week, what
Right.
they had seen when they were along the trail,
Right.
how many wagons were in that group.
Right.
There were lots of things they could identify with.
Right. So that's awesome, Martha. That's just like such a perfect example of what we who are watching this little short video right now are about to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the people who attend this session, they're going to pair up or in small groups of three, and they're going to get a prompt like Lewis and Clark, but it's going to be something completely different. And then they're going to have to brainstorm some of the ways that they can do what you and Glenn did, which is to connect in a very real way math and science and social studies and art and writing and numeracy and literacy and all of that kind of thing, right?
They had to, that's basically what their learning should be about. It should be connecting, especially in elementary school. They should be connecting with the real world. What's the point in doing addition and subtraction if you don't know why you're doing it?
To which
And
I
they
say,
add up their miles.
absolutely. And to which I say, amen, sister. Absolutely. Martha, thank you. This is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. Appreciate your time. And I'll go ahead and stop the recording now so that we have that.